So when you have Digital Access Pass installed on your site, it's going to show up in your WordPress ad panel right here. And when it does, you want to click that and you'll be logged into the Digital Access Pass admin dashboard. And it'll look something like this. Now here is where there's a few key things to pay attention to. One is adding the products. When you add your product, if you're going to use a PayPal hosted button, as most people like to do, if they're using, if they have one or two products or something, they often use PayPal. The key thing to remember here is making sure your product name, when you create it, is the same exact name that you put on the button that you make in PayPal. So that's a real critical thing so that they can speak to each other. And there's also a few things like when you're setting up PayPal, there's a certain identification number that you need to copy from your PayPal account into your setup here in Digital Access Pass. But one of the key things is your product name, and it's going to automatically come with some default products installed. So you can just duplicate them. You can select one and click Save as New, and it'll basically duplicate that product so you don't have to go making it from scratch. So that's actually really helpful. On the Pricing Recurring tab, you can set all of your pricing, and whether it's a monthly thing or an annual thing. You can also set your email autoresponder, so when people sign up, they get this message automatically by default. Now this is all default set up whenever you're using one of their demo products that they have installed, so that's usually the easiest way to get started. Over here on Generate Buy Buttons, again, you can use Digital Access Pass to create buttons, or you can use buttons hosted on PayPal. I tend to like that better just because I'm used to it. You might have your own preferences. You can see the documentation from Digital Access Pass under the Support tab that'll show you a lot of great videos on how to set up your PayPal button. But for the purposes of this video, I just want to walk you around back end a little bit. The users is where you're actually you can manually add your users, or you will later be able to manage them. Whenever you have this thing going, you can start to manage your users or set up test users, and you can see them in here once you add them. You can go to Users and Add, and you can manually add yourself to test it, and you just select the product you're adding yourself to, mark yourself as paid, and then click Add User, and you'll show up there. The other thing you want to look at is the setup here. Under Setup Config is where most of the important information is going to come when you're getting this all set up. For instance, the PayPal code that I was mentioning. If you have a PayPal account that you're using for your payment processing, you'll find here under the Setup Config that there's a spot right here, the PayPal Identity Token. Now again, in the Digital Access Pass documentation, there's a little video that shows you where to get your PayPal Identity Token. You just copy and paste it from your PayPal account in here. It's just knowing where to find it is the biggest thing, and you can find that from the documentation with that. But that's the main thing. You want to put your email here to sync it with your PayPal account, so you're making sure that that's all set up correctly. And this is probably going to be by default. It's going to be this link here for the PayPal payment error page. Everything else would pretty much stay the same. Up here you would be changing the login, where people would go to log in. You want to update this as you add pages to your site for people to log in, or for your sales page, or if they get an error, you'd create pages for that, and you would just set all of those links right here so Digital Access Pass knows where to send people. Other than that, that's kind of your main key things, so just setting up those products, adding your users, and then making sure the payment processor is configured properly. Now on the products, once you have them set up, it's pretty easy to, under the Content Responder tab, to just drag over your content, your pages and posts that you want to protect. By just clicking them and clicking Protect Selected Pages or Posts, it'll show up over here, and that's going to make that guarded material so that people have to log in to be able to access it. So that's kind of the overview, and again, the documentation for Digital Access Pass is pretty powerful. If you scroll down to the section on PayPal, you'll find a lot of the specific details on where to find that PayPal account information to be able to post and get it all set up so they're talking to each other correctly and easily. But other than that, that's kind of the basics. If there's something specific you have a question about, please just leave me a comment or shoot me an email, and I'm happy to answer that for you in a future video. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.